My name's Jay, and welcome to Uranium Glass Collecting. I hope everyone had an awesome Halloween and enjoyed being scared witless. Over the weekends, there has been some collecting being done, and I have scored an absolute ripper. I hope you guys have found some good pieces, but I found one that just blew my socks off. Very Murphy's Law, but very happy to have it. Today, I want to talk about marmalade bowls, jam bowls from the Victorian era. I'm lucky enough to have two really good pieces, and one not so good piece, but we'll get into that in a minute. These were made for tableware in the Victorian era. The Victorian era was 1837 to 1901, when Queen Victoria ruled the British Empire. Now, these aren't necessarily Victorian or English made. They're also Bohemian glass and have also been made in the United States. They're Victorian era because as long as they were made within that period or just outside of that period, that's considered Victorian. So onto the bowls themselves. Highly collectible. I know plenty of you guys chase these things, and I just love them. I absolutely love them. They are amazing artworks in themselves. They were designed to obviously hold marmalade, jams, or preserves of some kind, and then you just simply place them on the table and people would use them. So very usable, very fragile, and hence why they're getting rarer to find, because they were used, they were loved, they were used on the tables, and now they go into our collections, but very, very hard to find pristine pieces. These are my two. I'll do a close-up for you later. You can see they come in cradles. They're always used to place on the tables, as I say. The cradles themselves, you'd be very lucky to find a pure silver cradle. Most of these around the 1900s were made with silver plate, a little bit before. I'll do a video on silver plate later, but the trick with silver plate is if it's black, it can be cleaned. If it's got that bronzy or coppery look to it, it means it's down to the base metal, can't be cleaned. This one, bronzy coppery look, going to be down to the base metal, not much I can do about it, but there is a product that we can talk about in a future video that might help me, and we will try it out. This one in fairly good nick as far as the base metal goes. It's got some black pitting on it, but I think I have a trick up my sleeve that will clean that up beautifully. Back to the glass. They were designed to sit in here. So these pieces, excuse me while I gently do this, came with crimping. You can see that there's crimping on the top of this one, all the way around for putting your spoon in so your spoon doesn't slip into the jam. But also, there is a crimping halfway around it that was used. And this is traditionally, it's usually uranium glass that they put around the edges to just pretty up the glass. This one is fully uranium. You can see it's got the pont mark where it's been broken off the pont. But these rooms were very important because you could just simply slide them into the canisters, into the holders, cradles. I'll get the right word out. And I'll gently slide it in without breaking it, and it would sit like that. Most of the breakages come from these crimpings because placed down too hard on the table, somebody dropped it, something happened, so on and so forth. Somebody tried to take it out. Now to my amazing buy. My amazing buy was last week. I was out in the antique stores having a look around, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I came around the corner, and here was an amazing cranberry marmalade bowl in perfect condition. Run my fingers over it, not a chip out of it, nothing. The crimping around the side was in perfect condition. Great piece. Couldn't go past it because, and you're seeing double, I have one exactly the same. This one here has been shown in my previous video, which I'll put a link to down here. But this one I purchased online. Now, this is a bit of a buyer beware story because when I brought it, I didn't check, it didn't say, and I didn't ask whether there was any damage. And sure enough, the crimping on this one has been totally smashed off. It's obviously been broken, and then someone has gone, you know what, we can chip this off and then hide it. And this actually came in this cradle. So I was very unaware that that was missing until I went and picked it up from the auction house and discovered that it was. That was a $55 error, Australian dollars. But as I said, and there's a link below, I talk about broken pieces and whether you can still love them. And you know what? These things are so rare these days that I can live with a broken piece. You know, I'm never going to sell it. And if I'm going to sell it, I'm probably going to sell for the price that I paid for it, really. But when you see double, this was an absolute score. So 88 Australian dollars just for the glass. But it is 100% pristine. It is what this one should be. So now I have two perfect marmalade bowls. This one now sits in the cradle, and this one needs to find a home for a cradle. So I'm now on the search for a bit of silver plated cradle to match this and also disguise the breakage on it. So it looks like I've got three perfectly good ones. I'll do some close-up work, put the black light on it. So that, in a nutshell, is jam jars. Make sure you run your fingers over them. Look for chips and nibbles. You know, it is. If you're on selling, it is really important because these things need to be pristine. Price guide wise, I always talk in Australian dollars. I don't know about American, but 300 upwards, depending on what they are, what sort of styling, because they come very ornate. They can be very simple or very ornate. This one is very high in uranium and glows like Notamore, and I love it to pieces. This one, obviously only the citrine trims glow and the crimping down the bottom glows. The rest is cranberry glass. But you know, they would sell easily for probably 300 Australian dollars each, probably a bit more in this market as the market's up at the moment for us collectors, which is great if you're into selling. Broken pieces, really important now that I find a silver plate stand or cradle for it that's in good condition that I can clean up, that will hide the damage a little bit, and then I'll decide whether I keep it, sell it, moving on. If I sell it, it's probably only going to be anywhere between 50 and 80 Australian dollars. So not a lot of money. It'll recoup my loss, but that's about it. So there you have it, Victorian marmalade bowls or jam bowls. Very collectible, very beautiful, and they will make your display look amazing. Have a good one. Find some amazing pieces out in the wild. Until next time.